Hey guys, so I'm going to try and save one of my audience members, one of my subscribers' campaigns. They had reached out to me around the time when I dropped the free course, is when I started engaging with them in the comments, and seemed like a pretty cool person. They had let me know that they had very recently launched their first campaign, and they were asking me a bunch of questions. And, I kept the conversation open, as I do with all of you guys, because I'm just here to support you guys on your journey. And they reached out to me. If you had seen the Q&A video that I put up, they had actually reached out to me saying that one of their first campaigns, the first campaign that they had launched a couple weeks ago, was not going too well. So I decided to jump in and just lend a hand and walk you through exactly what I would do. Because this is stuff that I had to pay for a lot of money for to get someone like a professional's eyes on my work. But I want to do this for you guys just out of the goodness of my heart, and just to put some goodwill back into the space. So this is going to help you a lot. I'm going to show you exactly how I save campaigns. I'm going to treat this as if it was my own client. So I'm going to show you everything. I'm going to think out loud. I'm going to walk through everything that I would normally walk through on any campaign as if I was being paid for it. So you'll know exactly what I think about, what I look for, the exact next steps that I would take, so on and so forth, how to avoid situations like this ever happening again. So I'm going to make sure that you're prepared. I'm going to make sure that you're well equipped. And I promise you that if you apply the things that I say in this video, like, this is only the stuff that I would do for myself if it was for my own client, or if it was for my own internal campaign. So meaning that if there was money on the line. So if you just apply what I say, and you take what I say into consideration, take my counsel with an open mind and an open heart, then you will be a lot further ahead. I promise you that. Okay, so there's never a situation in which I run into a campaign that's not working, and we end up in a place further back than when we started. We can always take these as learning lessons if we apply things correctly and we know what to look for. The issue is with cold emails, there's so many things. It's an easy skill to learn, but there's a lot of things to think about, as shown by this cold email money printer blueprint that I put together. These are always the things I'm thinking about at any one time. So you're going to notice that as I dissect your campaign, I'm also going to be referring to this quite a bit. Okay, especially the analytics portion, because now we have some analytics. But I'm gonna dissect everything, and I promise you this is gonna save you, no joke, months. This is gonna save you months. I'm about to put you months ahead, and for anybody who's launching their first campaigns, or even who has paying clients, we still run into issues like this of why we can't get a campaign to work. Okay, and the reality is sometimes you will. This is agency work. Sometimes you will not be able to get clients' results. We're not anything close to gods here. Okay, I'm very, very good. I'm probably the best, if not one of the best people I know at cold email and at building and running an agency. There are times where I cannot get my client results. Now it's very, very far in between, because we do so much of the upfront filtering to decide which clients we take on. But especially when I first started, yeah, man, because I was taking anyone and everyone, right? So I didn't know any better. So let's get into this. We'll review the situation, and I promise you will be a lot better off. Okay, I'm gonna put all the time I need into this. I've blocked out the first part of my day to just really dissect this. This is the first time I'm really going through this live right on here. All right, so you'll be just fine. Again, I kept everything anonymous. I blocked everything out. So as I would always do if you guys ever reach out to me, I just use this as an example for the rest of the community, because we're all here to learn and get better and build really big businesses. Okay, but to build big businesses, we have to get good at the skill. We have to be in the top 1% of what we do, and I'm going to get you there. I promise you. Okay, this is stuff that people will charge you for in a school community or whatever it is. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but it's very rarely ever the kind of substance and depth that you're going to get into on here. All right, I have nothing to lose by helping you become better at this craft. There's enough money to go around for all of us. Okay, so with that being said, let's dig into it. So just a quick review of where this started off. So this person reached out to me. This is from the Q&A. So they started their very first campaign, which was terrible by their own declaration. They basically learned on YouTube and ChatGPT before finding my channel, but they just took action, which I love, by the way, which I love, because now we're here. Now we have data to work with, right? Now we have data to work with and to get better. A losing campaign is never a loss in real life. It's just data and information to get better. Look, I put out, this video that you're seeing will be video number 88, right? I believe so. Out of that, delete that. Yeah, this video that you're seeing right now, this video is video number 88. I don't care how many views I get. Like, it's just information. Now I know which titles work best, right? We have more sample data. That's all this ever is, not just for your clients, but for your business, and not just for your business, but for your life. Like, is this approach the best approach for how I want to make money, so on and so forth, like how I should get clients, right? We just need enough sample data to know what works and what doesn't. So I love that you took action. This already lets me know that you're going to be quite successful. Because you take blind action and then you figure it out later. Now's the later. Now you have someone like me, not that I'm putting myself above anyone else, but just someone who's quite experienced in this, helping you out. Cool. Because you would have never gotten here had you not taken action. So I'm proud of you just for that. But anyway, so you just took action, but miraculously it got you one client who you offered to work with for free and deliver 5 leads, but you're stuck. That's okay. So we got one free client. That's great. That's exactly where you want to start. Could you imagine if this client was paying you? This is where most people end up. This is why, you have like so many people who I run into, who I was interviewing for the accelerator and mentorship offer. They had purchased an SMMA course back in the day or whatever it is. And of course that those courses left people dry in the dust because they didn't, like, the people who were selling those courses didn't actually care about you. If they did, they would have told you to work for free. They didn't care about you. They just wanted to, they saw you as a transaction. They didn't care about you. This is why my advice, if you go through any of my like really thorough 0 to 100 videos, is to start for free. Could you imagine if you were being paid, the kind of pressure? This is why everyone who I started with, almost everyone, none of them are around. None of them are around. I humbled myself. You guys know this already if you've been on my channel, and I worked for free. All right. So I'm going to keep taking a bit of side steps and interjecting as I read through this, because the stories and analogies are important. I'm thinking out loud through everything here. Okay. I'm treating you as though you're my client right now, and as if I'm stepping in and we're partnering on this campaign and I'm helping you out with your client. So the campaign sent out 900 emails and 0 replies. That's an immediate red flag. I love that you got as close to 1,000 emails as possible, because that's something we can work with now. And you think that deliverability is a problem. So obviously not worth continuing, and a new campaign will be needed if we have to continue. So my rule is nothing is obvious, but we will dive in, and I do give you credit on this after we had more exchange via email. I would agree, but I never use the word obvious, because again, there are times where I'll get into the story in a second, but there were times where I thought it was an obvious deliverability issue with like 0.1%. With like 0.1% reply rates. I have screenshots of this, by the way. Go to my earliest videos. I thought it was deliverability issues, and it wasn't. Okay, so anyway, let's stick to the script here. So the campaign sent out 900 emails and 0 replies, and I think deliverability is a problem now, so obviously not worth continuing, and a new campaign will be needed if we have to continue. Now, after learning a lot from that time to now, I realize this business of selling business coaching, so you're selling business coaching to a client via cold email might be a really tough sell. I agree, because it takes so much trust, like I discussed in the Q&A, because I don't think coaching is something that is quantifiably tied to revenue. So there's a way to make it work, and we'll talk about this. He doesn't think coaching is something quantifiably tied to revenue in B2B, as the results people get are never the same. I also feel that the audience of coaching founders and leaders as startups or firms is about to grow, or as startups or firms that are about to grow, is one I think needs nurturing, because entrepreneurs and founders have egos, and usually rarely on their own want to go get a life coach. But hey, I may be wrong. So there's a way to spin this up. As someone who had a coaching business, there's a way to craft the offer statement in a certain way, and we'll go through that. Okay. Long story short, he's working on switching niches already at this moment, but his client has been patient. That's good, because you're working for free. That's why. Because that's why they're being nice to you, and they're waiting for you to try again. But now you're wondering if it's even worth it, because you doubt that the niche because you have doubts in the niche, and for the reasons above, like deliverability and stuff like that. And it's hard to quantify. So what would I do if I was in your shoes? If I was still a rookie, what's my thought on niches and B2B coaching? So I answered that in the Q&A, but then I asked this person for more information, and this is what they came back to me with. Okay, so they got me all the campaign responses, copy. Again, all the sensitive information is blocked out, so you're good to go, as promised. Okay, so let's see. So this person says that they're still a rookie, only started about 2 months ago. That's cool. You're about 2 months away from being a pro. And so they told me that they were just experimenting with cold email and AI, using ChatGPT and YouTube, taking some action, and it led you here. So yeah, so I could tell, I could tell either ChatGPT wrote a lot of this stuff. I can't tell for certain, but either ChatGPT wrote a lot of this stuff, or I don't know who you got this copywriting from. But hey, we will go through this together, my friend. Don't worry. So they sent me all the attached info. They launched the campaign 2 weeks ago, but stopped only after 2 days because they noticed deliverability issues. 100% sure of this. We'll go through this together. The inboxes, again, yeah, we'll go through this together, my friend. The inboxes were set up through Namecheap's private email service. So yeah, so I remember you commenting on one of my YouTube videos once, telling me how you got your stuff from Namecheap. I remember it being the domains. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't know you had maybe you told me this and I just don't remember, but I didn't know you had the inboxes through Namecheap. Getting your domains through Namecheap is perfectly fine. I have probably 40 to 50%. Maybe 40% of my domains from Namecheap. My emails, though, my inboxes are never from Namecheap. Warmed up for 3 weeks, so that's good. That's actually more than you need, so that's good. You're targeting founders and leaders at recently funded startups. Okay. Mainly SaaS and private equity firms. Yeah. With fewer than employees in the U.S. These are tough cracks. These are tough cracks. I'm not gonna lie. These are tough. These are tough. Let me you've probably seen this. You've probably seen this, but check that out right there, okay? Only because I've done it. Every single one of these things that you're seeing here, I did the opposite of, and so I realized that they were all mistakes. I realized what I should actually do. Every single one of these individual boxes, I did the complete opposite of. Every single one of these things, I did the complete opposite of. Okay, so don't worry. You think you're bad? I was bad. I was bad. You're about to be just fine. I will make sure of that by the end of this video. So let's continue. Not receiving out of office replies is the general. There's a word I'm looking for, but that is the red flag for deliverability issues. Okay, that is the one. Does it mean your inboxes are burnt? No. Does it mean you're going in spam? Yes. Those can be two separate things. They could, your copy could be sending you to spam. Your IP address that your inboxes are tied to could be sending you to spam. Does not necessarily mean that the inboxes are burnt. A lot of that stuff can be rerouted, especially if you're with an inbox reseller, for example. I know you're with Namecheap, who constantly rotates the IPs, things like that. But you not receiving out of office replies means, okay, this is where we got to look. We got to start looking at deliverability. Okay. You also realize that my 7-hour course, which you watched, awesome, was released the same day that you launched the campaign. So that made you understand that you need to relearn a lot. That's cool. At least you're not starting completely from zero. You know the lingo, especially personalization for your copies using AI agents. I got you. One thing is certain, deliverability for this campaign was terrible. Yeah. Especially because of this right here, not receiving out of office replies. But what really triggered your concern about the niche was the lack of out of office replies yet, and only getting one real reply. I wish you had sent me what that reply was, but that's okay. I don't need to know. It wasn't a positive reply, at least that we know. So that's okay. That made you doubt whether the niche was right, since the results look very similar to the bomb campaigns you showed in your videos. Again, thanks for taking the time to read this. No problem. I got you. So let me just say this. With SaaS, with PE, those are notoriously difficult to crack. You got to know PE folks in person, or you have to be introduced to them. Very rarely do you get someone from PE via cold email. I never have. I don't think I've even tried, but I never have, because I just know. I personally know folks in private equity in real life. You're not getting them through cold email. So which means your reply rate is naturally going to be lower. So I'd start off at, if everything's fine and dandy and you have a really strong offer, I'd probably look at a 0.8 as like the highest you're going to go. That's just a guess, but that's an educated guess, is a 0.8. Now with an offer, so those are the industries already putting you at a handicap here at a 0.8. Now with an offer of coaching, and then I'm probably looking at like a 0.6. And then with a poor offer statement, right? So like a poorly crafted email, you're probably looking at a 0.3, right? So you're probably looking at a 0.3 or even a 0.2. And this is you with your deliverability on point, like with your inboxes set up and warm for 3 weeks, the max you're looking at is a 0.3, right? And with this 0.3, I'd expect now to see maybe a couple of out of office replies. But notice how I still haven't decided or concluded that this is deliverability issues yet, even at a 0.3, which is what every other cold email person on the internet would tell you. I have this is in the free course as well, but I had campaigns where I tried to crack legal tech, construction tech, and my reply, I didn't get a single reply. Maybe I got one out of office reply or two, but my reply rate was literally a 0. And even then I knew my inboxes weren't burnt because I used the same inboxes for a completely different campaign. And my reply rate was like targeting a completely different industry. And I hit like let's just say a 0.8 or a 1%. So a lot, like, this is the invisible handicap that a lot of people don't realize, because they have no idea. And this is a problem with going after industries you're not familiar with. Just in general, it's because you don't understand the invisible handicaps, and no one's there to really tell you about the fact that these are hard to crack. They have spam filters to the moon. Private equity, oh my goodness. SaaS, oh man. All right. So 0.3 before I was even thinking about. I'd be even looking at out of office replies. But now you're not getting any out of office replies. You could be facing like a complete wall of spam filters, by the way, that you have to get around, because we're dealing with private equity and SaaS. But you are targeting startups and SaaS and stuff like that. So you should be getting out of office replies. So yeah, at the very least, this is not worth your time in the way you're approaching your campaign. So I'm gonna like I said to you over email already, you're likely having some deliverability issues because I don't know what that single reply was that you received, but you did receive a reply, but you're not getting any out of office replies or any automated responses or anything like that. And you're at a 0.1%. So yeah, that's good enough. That's close enough to 0. Okay. But I just want you to be aware of, this is why I never use the word obvious, is because of little things like this that people don't know. And if you go back to my first or second video ever on YouTube, this was after a few months of already, building my agency and working at it. I had paused all my campaigns for like 3 weeks. I had trashed all my inboxes, canceled all my subscriptions, changed sending platforms. This is when I changed from Instantly to Smartly, even thinking that would have an effect, but it had none. That wasn't the thing that mattered. I canceled all the subscriptions to my inboxes, got a ton of new inboxes, and paused all my sending for 3 weeks, and I wasn't making any money. And I had pretty much stopped my whole agency because of what I thought were deliverability issues, but really it was just these invisible handicaps. Lead gen, a perfect lead gen email, depending on targeting, you're really not going, higher than 0.8% to maybe 1.2%. And what people are saying on the internet is that, excuse me, anything under 1% is automatic deliverability issues. And it's not that simple. It's really not. Is it a holiday? the time of year matters as well, right? That really has an impact, the time of year. But look at all the things that like that I think about when I'm looking at campaign analytics, and I'll let you go through this on your own time. Anyway, so I digress. I am in agreement with you. Now, I am in agreement with you, but this is why I don't, I stopped everything when I thought I was 100% certain that it was deliverability issues, and it wasn't. And I just don't want you to make that same mistake, okay? So that is how I think about that, and primarily led by the lack of out of office replies or anything like that. Now, your bounce rate is low, so you're probably not hitting any spam filters or anything like that. Yeah, you might have there might be like a name cheap internal IP situation thing going on here. And also your copy as well is having a big impact. For sure. And I'll tell you why in a second, but because those guys have mega filters. I'm telling you, they just do. I'm telling you this from experience. Anyway, so let's dive into this. These are the campaign stats. Let me move myself out of the way so that you guys can see this. Okay, we'll look through this together. Hopefully none of this gets cut off. But here's what's important. So I like sending 1,000 emails. That's my rule before I ever conclude with anything. But he sent close enough to 1,000. He said 879. Let's see. So the campaign was created on September 7th. I don't know when it was launched, but that's okay. That doesn't really matter at this point. One reply. So you can see the reply rate there. It's 0.1%. It's very low. I would be concerned. I would be concerned. Again, not conclusively deliverability issues, because again, it could just be the targeting. These guys have spam filters to up the wazoo. I'm telling you. But also, I don't like the fact that you got your emails with Namecheap's private email thing. So let's get that onto a Google or Outlook. Okay, use scaled mail if you have the budget. You can also use premium inboxes if you want Google. I love the folks at AeroSend if you want a private SMTP. I love those guys. I have used them as well. Shout out to Namit, but I don't use them right now. And a private SMTP takes a little bit more skill. Okay, so I would go with like a scaled mail if you have the budget. Really good guys. I know some of those guys personally. And premium inboxes if you want some Google inboxes. If you want Microsoft, it doesn't get better than scaled mail. You can also go for inbox. How do you pronounce it? Inboxology. All right. Anyway, so the campaign stats, and then if we look even further, most of these were concluded with the first email sequence. They got two variants going on here, 400 and 439, so just about even. One reply on here, no bounces, which is good. And then they pretty much stopped this before email 2 really went out. They stopped it pretty soon, like after a day or two. Yeah, he stopped it after 2 days. So yeah. Let's dig into what's going on. Let's just tear this up. So the first thing I would do off the bat, before we even get into this, and to not waste anyone's time. Again, the good thing is you're working for free. Okay, I love that you did that. Good for you. That's the advice that I would always give, to not mislead anyone, because that's exactly what I did. And again, could you imagine if they were paying you, right? Now, this all starts with the client you take on. So in my VSL, if my memory serves me correctly, I don't know the phrase. We state, or we say this in the sales call period, but we state, now I just say it over email because it's an invite only basis after the application. But anyway, we state certain criteria that clients have to have. And this is because I learned by mistake that there are certain things that a client needs to have in order for me to actually be able to get them any sort of results. They need to build a certain amount. They need to be within a certain industry, ideally an industry I understand. There needs to be a certain amount of, there needs to be enough clients for them, for us to be able to email. They can't just be in a really small pool, right? So yeah, like they can't just only operate. Like I see this with a lot of accountants and financial service providers and fractional CFOs and stuff like that. Like they only operate in a certain geographic region. They only operate in Toronto, for example, or they only operate, where was it? In Cincinnati. I was dealing with one guy. And so there's only so many people in Cincinnati, and we're going to run through them in, in a week or two. Right. So there's also that. Does the client have case studies of their own? Do they have proof of them actually being able to do this? Because our job as marketers is not to like start another business. It's not to pick a business up off the ground. It's to scale an already existing business that already has a sales process and can already close deals and is already making sales. And that's another thing. Do they have a established sales process? Can they actually close the leads? Because if they can't, then they're going to be frustrated because you're getting them these leads. You're getting them these deals and these negotiations, and they can't do anything with them. They're going to blame you for giving them bad leads. That's not the case, or it shouldn't be. So it all starts with the client you take on. And again, you're probably going to mess this up, and that's okay. You've made this mistake now. You're not going to make this mistake again, at least to this degree. Good. You got it out the way. Everyone has to get this part out the way. Everyone. Nobody skips this step. And if they do, it comes back to haunt them and to bite them. I promise you. Take my word for it. I'm giving you my word. I'm giving you my word. It all starts with the client you take on. Now, this tends to happen when we're taking on free clients because, we just want experience. We want experience. I can't tell you how many LinkedIn DMs I've sent. And then I did a bunch of interviews with clients. And I almost took on a really, really bad client because they set up a deal that I thought was going to make me rich. I'm pretty sure I posted the screenshot on one of my videos before. Rich. It was like a rev share deal and blah, blah, blah. And I was calculating the amount I was going to make with the rate I was going to send emails at. I was probably going to clear 80, 100K a month easy, real quick. And then I luckily, I was about to say yes to the deal, put it in writing. I called up a mentor of mine, a business mentor of mine, and he's like, dude, do you understand the cash flow on this deal? Like, do you understand when you're actually going to get paid? He wants you to take on all the risk, and then he can easily just cut you loose and just blah, 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 blah. And so I had to walk away from deals that would have made me rich. But here's the abundance mindset is there will always be more of these deals. There will always be more of the right clients out there. So never be afraid to, now that you know what to look for and your instinct, trust your gut. 98% of business is just trusting your gut. This is why I don't work with total beginners, because they can't trust your gut. What I like about you is you just trusted your gut and you just went out there, because now you have to run into these things. You have to run into these mistakes. This wasn't a mistake per se. It was a learning lesson. You have to face this boss. This is the boss at level 1. You got to the end of level 1 in Mario. Now you're fighting Bowser, the boss. Now you're about to beat him because you have my help. Now you're never going to make this mistake again. And you'll be able to show other people how not to run into the situation too, okay? This is all a learning lesson. Now, it all starts with the client you take on. So we're going to discuss the things that I do and do not like about this client just from reading their copy. But yeah, I would stay away from coaching. Because again, the only reason why I, for example, can launch a coaching offer right now that'll do a sizable amount of revenue is because I've built immense trust in the marketplace, and I'm reaching out to people with a really refined offer, but also a lot of the clients that I be going for are warm, and there's trust there. There's been a lot of trust to be built. And if I go after cold traffic, which I'll show you how to do, I would have to quantify it. I can't just coach people to make them feel better. I would have to say, okay, this is likely to produce X or Y result, numerical result in your business. So you'll get better and better and better at this. Your judgment will only get better. Your judgment is better today than it was yesterday. Your judgment is better now than it was 2 weeks ago. So just keep trusting your gut and don't lose confidence. You're moving in the right direction. I promise you, you're a lot further ahead than I was. The thing, I have two superpowers. I have two superpowers ever in life, period, that allow me to dominate in anything I do. Number one is I have trust in my gut. I trust my gut. I trust myself. I trust myself. I just always trust that I'm moving in the right direction. I just fire from the hip. I trust myself. Doesn't mean I don't get things wrong, but now I never make that mistake again, sort of thing, right? And so I just stand on all my failures. Like I said before, the only reason why, this is not about me, but this, I have to share this with you. If I'm gonna lead you in the right direction, you got to know this stuff, okay? See, all of these things, like I said before, these were all these boxes were individual mistakes. All these boxes were individual mistakes that when I tested, I realized they got me a little further, and so I added them on here. All these, and now I can just share this with you in one little nice graph. All these boxes were individual mistakes. Why wasn't I getting results? I wasn't sending this many emails a day. I skipped this warm up. So I said, do not skip this, right? I went with a cheap reseller. So I said, go with a premium reseller, right? I thought that I should only be using Microsoft. Then I thought I should only be using Google. And then I concluded that neither is better than the other, all from testing. All of these, I'm not exaggerating. That's why they're here. They wouldn't be here if I didn't have to think about them. Like, if I didn't think about them at one point, they wouldn't be here. I didn't pull them out of thin air. So I promise you, you think you've made mistakes. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. All of these things, every single one. Now there's probably 100 different, maybe 50, 100 different individual boxes here. All right. So you're doing just fine, but you have to go through this stuff. Now, can we 100% conclude their deliverability issues? No, but we're at a 98%, and that's good enough for me. Okay, led by the lack of out-of-office replies, we're at a 98%. At the very least, who you're targeting, the industries you're in, and the copy you're going about it makes for poor deliverability issues. If it's not your infrastructure, it's those things combined. All right, so that's good enough for me. So what's the play? Do we save the campaign? Do we start over? Do we switch niches? Do we drop the client? What's the play? Well, this is up to you, like I mentioned to you over email. If you want to keep going with this client and persist maybe for another week or so, get rid of the inboxes you're using now. Go to premium, go to Puzzle Inbox, go to puzzleinbox.com. I'm not an affiliate partner of theirs. All right, so I'm not endorsing them by any means. It's just a way to get inboxes set up quickly. They will set them up in Smart Lead for you in about 48 hours. They're pre-warmed. Some of them will have very poor warm-up scores and deliverability scores because they've been used already. That's okay. That's fine. It's better than nothing. And then you test the copy that I'll try and help you with if there's any saving to this campaign. You test some of the copy, okay? See if you get any reply rates. If you don't get any reply rates, because now with these inboxes, you would have been moved away from Namecheap, so you know for a fact. If you still get poor deliverability, it's because either the copy or the niche or whatever it is or the offer just sucks. After your deliverability is set up correctly, your offer is the number one thing that matters in terms of your reply rates. It's your offer. If you start getting some replies, then with the same copy, you can test the same copy you've had before, even though I wouldn't, because we're going to have to improve that copy a bit. But then you know that it wasn't Namecheap. It was just the copy, okay? If you start getting some replies with different copy. But anyway, personally, I personally would go to a niche that has proven to work. This is why I went into this business, is because this cold email had been proven to work. It's way easier to make money with offers that have been proven to work already. I'm never reinventing an offer. Lead gen, deal gen has been there since the beginning of time. Cold email, been there since the inception of email. Just do things that already work. I promise you, it doesn't pay to be novel unless like you're some super genius like Mark Zuckerberg and you can make the next Facebook and also get extremely lucky and be in the right circumstances as well. Or make the next Microsoft or OpenAI, which I'm not. Right? But you can make a killing just doing things that already work. So that's what I would do is I would get if it was me personally, I would just get I'd spend maybe $40 to $50 because I'm not a quitter. And I'd go to puzzleinbox.com. I'd get a few inboxes. I'd test some new copy. And if it works, if we get to like a 0.6, I just want a reply or two. just to see. If not, let's switch niches. Let's ditch this client. Let's say thanks for the opportunity. I'm just being honest with you. Let's say thanks for the opportunity. However, I had to make an executive decision on behalf of my agency to focus my time elsewhere. Just something like that. I sent you a better script via email. I forgot what I sent you, but that's what I would do. Okay, so let them know that yeah, just let them know of some other stuff, but thank them for the opportunity, but that you have to focus your time and prioritize your time elsewhere. Okay. If you I would test the pre-warmed inboxes first. If I get results, keep going. If not, switch clients. It sounds like you're probably gonna have to switch clients or niches. My gut is just telling me, but that's okay. I have a whole video on the best niches. All right. Now let's dive into this copy. We're about 35 minutes in. So, off the bat, this copy is way too long. I see you spin taxed it, which is great. Do you have a 2-step follow-up sequence here? Is that what's going on? It looks like you have a 3-step, so get rid of the 3-step. Never do more than 2-step. As you're going to see in tomorrow's video, where I dissect some really terrible cold emails, a lot of them just get marked in spam because they emailed me 3 times. I think you've seen those videos already, but never more than two steps. You talk about things that hurt your deliverability. Sending 3 emails hurts your deliverability. It's not just me saying this. All the big folks in this space, and I'm not even like the biggest. I'm definitely on my way, but a lot of the folks, most of the folks, just agree with this. Okay, it just is what it is. All right. If you're not going to get them in the first 2 times, this is not 2019 where we can send 7-8 follow-ups and be okay, right? Google and Outlook spam filters, they really penalize you if you keep emailing the same person and they never reply to your emails. All right, so let's dive into the copy. I like that it's spin taxed. And let's see. Let's start with the subject line, and then we'll go into this example of the full copy right here. So. Yeah, so with the subject line, honestly, just stick with the first the quick question, as you did right here. Quick question, first name. Get rid of any like fancy subject lines like this that ChatGPT probably made, which is fine. Just don't put long subject lines like this. Don't do this. Just don't ever feel this at company. Yeah, no. Helping execs turn milestones into clear. No. Just keep it. Honestly, keep it. Quick question. Quick question. First name. Quick question. So on and so forth. I get a lot of quick questions. I get a lot of cold emails because my business is out there now. I get a lot of cold emails, and the quick question never doesn't work. Even though it's used a lot, it doesn't not work. All right. So it's the safest bet. All right, so let's look at this copy. So hi, first name. I was looking into company name, and it reminded me of something I often see with founders and execs. The outside momentum looks strong, but internally it can feel misaligned. So I'm gonna show you guys something just off the bat, okay? So I paused the video to grab this from my inbox, and I'll go through this in tomorrow's video. But this is one of the best cold emails that I've received in a while. Not because it's fancy, not because the offer is particularly good. In fact, the offer is not relevant for me personally. I just don't need it at this time. But because it was short, clear, concise, and to the point. Like it's like we're at the point now. Funny enough, one of my best campaigns was one of my longest campaigns, but that's not like that was an anomaly. That was an anomaly. It was an exception. This cold email worked because, and I said this in a previous copywriting workshop video like this. By the way, a copywriting workshop wouldn't be a bad idea. Anyway, this was one of the best cold emails because, number one, it stayed within the rules. It just followed the rules. And number two, and most importantly, by far, it was clear, concise, and to the point. Meaning, I don't have my phone anywhere near my phone is usually in a different room, but it's way over there, and it's off. My iPhone is off. It's completely off. I don't respond. I don't like, my family knows. People know. It's weird, but this is part of why I'm able to succeed in the things I do. It's because my focus is not disturbed ever. They want to reach me, they reach me via email. My phone is off. So now, getting back to this, when I do check my emails, if I'm not checking them on my computer, I'll go get my phone, and then I'll open my phone, and you have about the time between when I open my phone and the time to, like, I check it when I'm on my way to the bathroom or something like that. So you have the time between when I open up my phone, and you know, there's like 10 different emails. You're competing with all those guys to the time I go close the bathroom door and put my phone down to use the bathroom. That's about how much time you have to get my attention. Other than that, I'm just swiping through emails. You have like 0.3 seconds to get my attention. I'm not here to read a book or any sort of story, right? So like, you can have really good cold emails that are one line long, maybe two. I promise you can. So I'll go more in depth into this cold email tomorrow. But anyway, let's bring this back to you. So off the bat, I don't want, like, it's very selfish. Like the folks who read cold emails, they're very selfish because we have to be. We get bombarded with emails. We're protecting our time and our focus. Remember, entrepreneurship at a high level is a sport. Just like athletics, they protect their body and, you know, with the food that they eat, for example. We protect our focus as entrepreneurs. And so you have to feed into that. Meaning you can't write long emails. Okay, so this is the relevance line here. I was looking into a company name, and it reminded me of something I see often with founders and execs. This outside momentum looks strong, but internally it can feel misaligned. Even with growth, so you still haven't gotten to the point yet, right? By this point in the email right here, I already want to know what you want. Actually, I want to know what you want from the jump in that first paragraph. But I already, like, here you got to tell me, like, here you have to tell me what you want. You have to tell me what you want. You have to tell me, you have to propose the thing. You need to make the offer right here. That's about how much time you have, which means that all of this, I'm not even reading. I promise you I wouldn't read this. I haven't. I already stopped. See how little time you have? See how little time you have? So what you say at the start dictates whether I'm going to move further down the email or not, but I'm not, because you haven't told me what you want, you know, by this point. Like this first paragraph is okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, right? I don't care what it reminds you of, right? Because I know you're about to teach me something or tell me something via email, and like I've said in other videos, don't do that, right? Like, look at what this guy did. Hey Pablo, found your LinkedIn profile and thought I'd reach out. Okay, now I'm wondering why you are reaching out. You know, he's not saying it reminds me of something from third grade, or you know what I mean? I don't really care what it reminds that person of. As someone who's reading the email, this is what they're thinking about. This is part of why you didn't get the replies. This all contributes to the deliverability. I promise you it does. I promise you it's not just Namecheap, okay? I just take my word for it, please. All right? Even though Namecheap's private email, it could be a big factor. It could be a big factor. But there's a reason why they still sell well and why they're still in business. Is because for a lot of folks, I'm sure it works. So we have to consider the copy as well, right? So this is all the relevance line has to be. How you found me, okay? And now I want to know what you want. Now I want to know what you want, all right? See how they just proposed, although they talked about them a lot, which is what I'll critique in tomorrow's video. But they just got straight to the point. They have a tool that's helping people with X, Y, and Z, and then they want to send you more info. That's it. Great cold email. That would work. That works. In 2025, going to 2026, that works. Now it's just a matter of sending it enough times to the right people. The AI stuff, very limited, very used very sparingly, but in the right way. And that would be my critique for that guy tomorrow. But anyway, so you have to get to the point. So none of this matters. You're still talking like, or who the AI that wrote this, for example, it's still very abstract. And this is why this is my gripe, my beef with a lot of the AI automation folks. Some of them are good, not gonna lie. When they're honest with their intentions, but a lot of them made you think that you can just use AI to hyper personalize like 2 or 3 different lines of these emails. No, it's not the case. It's not the case. AI doesn't turn you into a good copywriter, right? You become a knowledgeable copywriter, and then you decide how to fit AI into the thing, into the email, into the system. Okay, so you gotta get rid of this. Got to get rid of this. Okay, these lines don't matter. This did not add to your email whatsoever. So we're gonna remove this. And don't take this personally. I know you're not, but don't take this personally. This is stuff. I wish I had someone go through my copy like this and tell me their thinking as well. So we're gonna remove this. All right, we're gonna remove this. And we're never going to talk about how it makes you feel again, okay? Or what it reminds you of. We're not going to talk. All you're going to do next time is say, I was looking into Atomic and figured this might be relevant. I was looking into a company name and thought I should reach out. Kind of like this guy did. Okay? That's all you're going to do next time. That's it. That's all you're going to do. I was looking into a company name and figured I'd reach out. That's it. Or I found company name on X, Y, and Z and thought this would be relevant. That's your first line. That's it. Cha-ching, you're done. Cool. Now, this is where I focus. So again, you're talking about yourself here. So let's not do that, okay? Supporting leaders at companies like company name to realign vision with leadership. Yeah, so they care about us as founders, you as a founder, right? If I were to propose an offer to you, the only thing you care about, especially in B2B, especially in B2B, especially in B2B. B2C people are always about like, how can I not lose money? B2B people are, how can I gain money? They're very offensively minded. They're very offensively focused. Offense. They don't play defense. This is why I don't do B2C anymore. I hate B2C. I got out of my B2C coaching and consulting business. I hated it. I was burnt out because people are so defensive. B2B, it's always like, let's gamble, let's make bets. You know, I'll pay you 20 grand. Take me to 200K a month kind of thing. Like, everyone's on go. So they care about ROI. They care about how much money you can make them, how much this can increase productivity, for example. I said this in the email, but if we want to talk about how to make a coaching offer work for cold traffic, this is how you would do it. So we wouldn't talk about anything feelings based. Supporting leaders to realign vision. This sounds like the manifestation woo-woo talk, right? I know this because I was in the health and wellness space. I know what this is like, and this is what you were saying, and you were right about this. We can't sell this to cold traffic unless it's Grant Cardone or Gary Vee or Jay Shetty or one of those folks emailing. Then this will get some responses, or Oprah Winfrey. Other than that, we got to find a way to quantify this, okay? And I will show you how to do that in a second. Do you think it'd be helpful if I showed you 2 to 3 insights from leaders who've shifted from a state of restlessness? Yeah, so we're talking about feelings now, to fully on track and showing up in a more powerful way. Yeah, and now here's the thing. This might not be your fault. I don't know if this person on their website, your client, is framing this in the right way. You got to let me know. You don't have to let me know, but just double check this part, okay? So double check if on their website they are showing numerical results. If they're able to take the work of what they do for clients, first off, if they've done this in the past and they have case studies and testimonials. Second, if they've packaged that in a way that shows that they can quantify this. So because of my coaching, I helped this team increase their sales by 10%, or I help them increase their productivity by 20%. And there's a way to measure that. Like, there has to be, have they quantified this? Have they quantified the work that they do? If not, you're never going to be able to get them results, my friend. And you don't want to fix this for them. You don't want to make that your job. Find a new client, please. I'm telling you, as someone who's I built a business in this space, a multi-6-figure business. I would have been at a multi-7-figure business. I was doing be above 50K a month at my peak. I could have made $500,000 a month easily, knowing what I know now. Over 50K a month selling like feelings based stuff. Could you imagine if I realized this stuff, that you have to tie it back to money and productivity and ROI in that way? I would have been let's not even go there. So if the client hasn't done this on their own, please step back. They're not paying you enough to fix your business, to fix this business. Okay. I wouldn't even do this at the amount that they pay me now. I wouldn't. They have to come in having the packaging in the right way and having some product market fit. It sounds like there's a lack of product market fit here. Okay. The reason why Grant Cardone, was able to sell sales training or business B2B coaching was because it was sales training. It was sales training. It was Grant Cardone sales training. It would increase your sales or your sales team's close rate by X%, meaning you make more money. He could always tie it back to how much more money it would make the business. Here, we can't, at least not from the way this is inputted. Okay, so you have the relevance line. Immediately, I would go straight from the relevance line to the offer statement, and the offer statement would be phrased in a way where it's kind of like, we've been helping founders and CEOs. SaaS. I would make it industry specific. We've been helping SaaS founders, or private equity founders, whatever it is, or private equity executives or financial service executives. That doesn't matter at that point. Just be industry specific. We've been helping SaaS founders improve their sales team's productivity by 20%, resulting in X, Y, and Z. Right? Resulting in, I don't know, revenue increases and blah 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 by X%. Or we've been helping SaaS founders improve their productivity, which results in 20% increase in revenue month over month, something like that. Like, that's how I would make the offer. And then, would this be of any interest to you in a would you be interested in discussing this any further? Like, that would be my call to action. Very simple email. It would be about this long. It would be about this long. That's it. Okay. And I pray to God that this client, this is the stuff that you guys got to know, because so much of it is about the client you pick and take on, which is why I'm at this point now where it's like, so much of the results I get is because I picked the right client. That's like 80 to 90% of it is because I picked the right client. No, not maybe a half, maybe a good 50 to 60% of my success is just knowing which clients to pick. That's why it's, we have a minimum threshold now. All this is by design. Minimum threshold. They have to be able to afford my engagement fee. They have to be in a certain niche. They have all of this by, and then the results compound, and I move faster because I'm picking the right client, and I'm only working with clients I can get results for. Okay. So my email would be about that long, and we would have to find a way to quantify it. Do not do the work of doing this unless the client has already done it themselves. If they haven't done it themselves, I would stop everything I'm doing right now. I wouldn't even get the pre-warmed inboxes. I would just go straight to the little spiel I sent you over email to find a new client. Okay. This will happen as you're finding a free client. This will happen is because you want a free client, you want some experience, right? So what you do is, you take on anyone and everyone, and that's okay. Cut your losses because you're paying for this infrastructure, all right? You're only about 2 weeks away. You're only about 2 weeks away from being where you need to be. In the meantime, you can go get new clients. I've given you free LinkedIn DM scripts to get a new client by tomorrow. A new free client, all right? What video was that in? Sales price hint. A realistic timeline of scaling your business from 0 to 50K a month. That's a video where I put in the LinkedIn scripts. Okay. So, you're doing fine. And then, this is going to be part of a case study in about a month. You're going to have your first case study, and the case study is going to be like one of my early ones, where if you scroll to my oldest videos, where it's like how we improved our deliverability rates by X, Y, and Z%, and you're going to be able to use that to get more clients, because now they see that you've gone through the rigor of all this stuff. So none of this, I know this has been a long video, but none of this stuff is going to waste. I promise you. You're going to be lethal. Just give yourself another 6 to 8 weeks. All right. I'm not here to mislead you. As I've shown you in all these videos and in this video as well, all this stuff comes from me having made the mistakes on my own and me paying thousands of dollars to get people to look at my stuff. And then and even still, they don't give me the right advice. I'm giving you all the advice I wish someone had given to me with no filter, when being 100% just truthful and honest with you. This is exactly what I would do. Okay. This is exactly what I would do. The number one criteria for me is how the client on their own is phrasing their offer. Do not do yourself a disservice. Like, the copy is easy to fix. I can help you. Like, we just fix that in 10 minutes. This is all you do. You just make it like this guy. That's it. And then run this all day. Okay. If the client hasn't figured out a way to quantify their own offer, let's skedaddle. Let's find a new client. All right. I gave you the script to find a new client on your own. Use LinkedIn. Just use LinkedIn. Okay. Just use LinkedIn. If you want to get a free client, use LinkedIn. If you don't have a LinkedIn, you should make one. It's well worth your time. Okay. For credibility, business credibility, there's very few platforms like LinkedIn. I get taken seriously. I get reached out to folks, by folks, big businesses, because they can Google me and find me on LinkedIn and see that everything I talk about on here is actually true. That I've run this business and built this business and blah, 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 blah. And that, a lot of big folks in the cold email space follow me, and everyone else can see that. Like, you can see the mutual connections. So it all just adds up. So you want to make a LinkedIn if you don't have one already. I'm going to assume you do. If they have quantified their offer, then yeah, let's get some pre-warmed inboxes from Puzzle Inbox, and then let's try it for another week or so, and then we'll see if it was really Namecheap. Because again, we still have a couple layers to dig down, right, on the deliverability piece. Like, it's not enough to just realize we're having deliverability issues. We need to know why, so that this doesn't happen again. So that's why we want to narrow down where this stemmed from. All right. I've had issues with deliverability literally because it was a holiday. Where I have this written down somewhere. Look, right here. I was sending emails on July 4th weekend and wondering why I wasn't getting any replies. It's because it was July 4th weekend. It was American Independence weekend. So little things like that. Okay. But anyway, I appreciate you sharing this with me. I'm going to assume you're going to see this video. Just send me an email with your thoughts. Okay. If you want to keep things anonymous, but I appreciate you guys sharing this, your results, your testimonials, your wins with me, so on and so forth, because, the whole community can learn this way. Right. And I don't like, the reason why I'm building my channel in this way and making videos like this, if you want me to be honest with you, is because I didn't have this kind of support. And the school communities and courses and programs I was a part of, they didn't support me in this way. They didn't. They didn't. Like, to get someone to, who's doing this at this level, to look at my campaigns and spend an hour dissecting my campaigns free of charge, I would have been so much further ahead if I had that. So much further ahead. Like, it gets me worked up sometimes because I think of all like the stress and like the frustration and like just seeing my credit card bill go higher and higher and higher because I was trying this and I was trying that. I didn't have any support. This is why I'm so passionate about this stuff. Okay. So anyway, that's it. Offers and updates. Sign up to my newsletter if you haven't already. It's free. We may be hiring a couple of go-to-market engineers and a customer success manager in the next 2 to 3 weeks, especially as we get our educational leg of Ventuscale off the ground. Okay. Done for you services on an invite-only basis, limited to B2B firms doing over $1 million a year or $80K a month. Engagement fee begins at $50K. Mentorship and accelerator offer is in development. It's looking amazing right now. I've tested it with my clients. Of course, it's the same it's going to be a copy paste of the system that I've used for my clients to scale them to over $1 million a year, scale my businesses, so on and so forth. So Thank you to those who express interest. It would be for any current agency or business owners looking to integrate AI cold email into their business to scale to 50K a month, or to offer AI cold email as a service to other businesses. Again, I've been consulting with my current clients and my own mentors as I give the structure. It will be a copy paste of the systems I've used to scale their businesses and mine, but put together in a more accessible format. Okay. You'll have access to me. I'll personally be working with you. It will easily be, it is the most bulletproof, tested, results-oriented program on the market. No BS, no fluff, just designed to get you results. And between us, it'll probably put a lot of folks out of business. It will be tight-knit, high quality. It will be a high-quality private group, invite only. Again, so I'll be speaking with you personally once I put the word out there and open the spots. The spots will be very limited because, again, I'll be working with you personally. That's not some marketing tactic. That's just how I'm going to be able to get you guys results in the most surefire ways. If I get as close to working with you personally as possible. Okay. And to do that, I can't have this diluted. It can't be a school community of 1,000 people. So it's going to be expensive. It's going to be compromised only of the best folks, limited spots only, 5-figure agency owners, 6-figure agency owners, 7-figure agency owners. I might invite a couple of people who are just getting started because I've interviewed them personally. Okay. But it's for those who are looking to learn from the best, who are looking to accelerate and save themselves, literal months of work. Okay. This will save you years of time, hundreds of hours of time and headache, and thousands of dollars that I can guarantee you that you are going to spend on mistakes. Okay. If I can guarantee you anything with this kind of offer, it's that. So it's just going to be copy paste of what I currently use to already scale my clients to the moon. It's not a joke. Okay. You guys have been around here long enough. This stuff is quite easy for me to help you out with. Okay. For anyone looking to inject some serious cash flow into their business and play around with some serious capital, spots will be limited as I will be working with you personally. More to be announced soon. All right. Going into Q4, we're not here to play around. See you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.